Most people will watch this video and feel something, but they will not change. And somewhere deep inside, they already know that. This message is not for everyone. It is for the one who still has a fire, but doesn't know why it keeps dying out. It is for the person who wakes up tired, not from work, but from carrying the invisible weight of a life not yet lived. What if the biggest enemy of your future is not your circumstances, but the story you keep telling yourself about them? Think about last night. Somewhere in this country, a young man sat in a dim room, lost in distraction, watching other people's victories. His eyes were open, but his mind had already surrendered. He was not resting. He was disappearing, one meaningless minute at a time. Sound familiar? This is not just a story. This is the story of an entire generation, educated but untested, ambitious but paralyzed, full of dreams and somehow running away from every single one of them. We live in an era of noise. Every hour someone is selling you distraction dressed as entertainment. Every algorithm knows exactly how to keep you comfortable, and comfort, my friend, is the most sophisticated trap ever built. You don't feel it closing. You just slowly stop moving. But here is a question that will disturb you if you are honest enough to sit with it. How many of your best hours went to distraction last week? How many moments of real focus, real effort, real building did you trade for a few seconds of someone else's highlight reel? The crisis of this generation is not unemployment. It is not even poverty. It is the loss of seriousness. The inability to sit with discomfort long enough to become something. Imran Khan once stood on a stage and said something that most people clapped for, but few truly heard. He said that a nation does not rise because conditions become perfect. A nation rises when individuals decide to rise within imperfect conditions, one person at a time, one decision at a time. Now think about Abdul Sattar Edhi, born in a small town, no powerful family, no international degree, no political connections, a man who began his mission with a single mat on a footpath. People thought he was eccentric, some laughed, and while they were laughing, he built the largest volunteer ambulance network in the world. Not because Pakistan was easy, but because Edhi made himself hard. He did not wait for a better system. He became the system. This is the psychological truth that separates those who build from those who blame. The mind conditioned by excuses will always find a reason to stay still. The mind trained for responsibility will always find a reason to move forward, even in the rain. So why do so many of us stay stuck? Because the brain is not designed for ambition. It is designed for survival. It will always whisper, rest, wait, is too risky, not yet. And unless you have trained yourself to push past that whisper, you will obey it forever. Picture this, a university student in Lahore, first-class family pressure, mediocre grades, no mentor, no roadmap. Every morning she wakes up with fire. Every night she sleeps with guilt. She is not lazy, she is lost. She has energy but no direction, passion but no discipline, dreams but no architecture. She is not alone. She is the majority. And the tragedy is not that she is struggling. The tragedy is that she will spend years waiting for someone to rescue her when the only person who ever could is already living inside her skin. The shift does not come from motivation. Motivation is a feeling, and feelings fade. The real shift comes when a person stops negotiating with themselves, when they stop asking, am I ready? And start asking, what am I waiting for? Because readiness is not a destination, it is a decision. Your environment will not change before you do. The economy will not wait for your confidence. Opportunity does not knock twice for the ones who are still planning to answer the door. Something is already shifting inside you right now. There is a reason you are watching this. There is a reason these words feel less like motivation and more like a mirror. You made it to this point. Most people won't. And that alone tells you something. There is a certain kind of person in this world. They consume endlessly content, advice, inspiration, but they never truly decide. They live in the space between intention and action, waiting for a sign that never comes. If that is you, this part is the most important thing you will hear today. Imran Khan spent 22 years building a political movement that everyone around him called a waste of time. 22 years of loss, ridicule, and isolation. The press dismissed him, the elite laughed at him, his own supporters sometimes lost faith, but he never renegotiated shaken his belief in what was possible. Not once. What kept him standing? It was not talent. It was not luck. It was the disciplined refusal to let failure become identity. This is the lesson that no school teaches and no syllabus carries. Failure is information. It is the universe handing you a manual written specifically for your journey. The people who succeed are not the ones who avoided failure. They are the ones who stopped fearing it long enough to read the manual. Now imagine this scene. A young man, 2 a.m., the house is silent. He has been rejected from his third job application this month. His CV is strong, his degree is good, but somehow every door stays closed. He sits at his desk and something in him wants to quit. Not just the job search, but the whole idea that he deserves more. That voice in his head sounds very reasonable, very mature, very calm. That voice is lying to him, because the voice that tells you to settle is never the voice of wisdom. It is the voice of fear that learned to dress professionally. This generation was never taught how to fail forward. We were taught to perform, to score, to appear successful, but not how to rebuild after collapse. So when collapse comes, and it always comes, most of us do not know what to do with the wreckage. We either run from it or we are buried under it. But the ones who build something real, they sit in the wreckage, they study it, they ask, what broke, why did it break, and what must I become so it does not break again? That is the question that changes everything. Edhi's ambulance service was once running on borrowed resources. His workers sometimes went without pay. The infrastructure was crumbling. And in that moment, a lesser man would have announced the limits of his vision. Edhi announced expansion, not because resources appeared, but because purpose refused to shrink. When your purpose is bigger than your problem, you do not solve problems by avoiding them. You outlast them. Stop asking what you are owed and start asking what you are willing to earn. The world does not reward the most talented people. It rewards the most consistent ones. And consistency is not glamorous. It is the quiet, private decision you make every morning before anyone is watching to show up again. That gap between who you are and who you are capable of being is not filled by motivation. It is filled by one decision made seriously and then protected like something sacred. The world will not believe in your vision before you do. That is not cruelty. That is the design. You were not built for a comfortable disappearance. You were built for something that requires struggle, requires silence, requires the kind of seriousness that most people are too afraid to commit to. So this is not the ending. This is a reckoning between you and your potential. The only question left is simple. When you close this, what will you actually do differently? Because this message was never for everyone. It was always only for you.